Hi everybody, hope you're really keeping well. Today we're going to talk about enrichment. We're going to look at different ways of presenting food to your dogs, making sure that they get as much calm activity in as we can at the moment. So it really doesn't matter if you feed wet or dry. There'll be something for you, whatever you feed. And again, I just want to say that it really doesn't matter that your dog gets fed at 7, for example, in the morning and a set time in the evening. It really doesn't matter. Weigh out your dog's portion of food for the day and then plan the activities throughout the day. So, throughout the day, your dog has got different activities to do and things to keep them busy. So the first things that I want to show you are the Licky mats. So this is a Licky mat. I'm sure you can see the little nodules on there, little flexible nodules. So you just spread your food on here and the dog has to lick to get it off. Licking is self-soothing, it releases feel-good factors and actually keeps them quite busy. When I used to have the wood panelling in my hallway, I quite often would put a line of coconut oil or something along them so that the dogs had something to lick at. So these are just little mats. Pets at home have got some nice licky bowls. They've got the nodules on the inside. Can't show you that because it's ready for one of my dogs later on. This is not a licky mat, but I use this as a licky mat for my little one, for little Flea. Again, little flexible nodules on there and just gives them something to think about. So the sort of food that could go on there would be their wet food, some mashed bananas, some sardines, yogurt, cottage cheese, anything like that you can just put on. Some bone broth would be nice. This is not a licky mat, but I do use it as a licky mat. Pretty sure these are called pyramid molds. They're for making little dog treats, and they're made out of silicone. What I like about this is the flexibility of it, because I can just load it and then I can roll it. Some people will freeze licky mats, which is fine if your dog is used to that, so don't start off with a frozen one because it might be too tricky. I don't often feed frozen though, I don't think it's that good for them, but if it's a hot day or something like that, yeah, absolutely. So those are licky mats. What you can also use is a towel. So you can spread some treats along the towel, and you can then roll it up loosely to start off with, and then you've got some treats in there for your dog to snuffle along and get them out. You can also tie a knot in your towel, and with some of the dry food, you can actually then load up the knot with it. I mean, you're not going to get that much kibble in there, but it's something to keep them busy. If they're getting a little bit restless, you can just, put this out in the garden with them, and they will enjoy going in and getting some treats. Again, make sure it's an old towel, not your best towel. This brings me on to the snuffle mat. I do like a nice snuffle mat. I use them a lot in class. So this is one that I have bought. You can make them, you can buy them. These ones wash really nicely. This is the back of them. If you YouTube how to make a snuffle mat, you will get a lot of videos and guidance on that. They wash really nicely. And you can just load it up with treats and let your dog, it's a snuffle mat, load it up for your dog to come and use. However, if you can't get hold of one, if you haven't got one, you can't get hold of one, you might have a bath towel that's quite long and that you can use as a snuffle mat. So this is one that you can use as a snuffle mat. Just put some treats in there, let your dog find them. So what will happen with them when you use snuffle mats and things like that is your dog may well eat the treats quite fairly quickly once they're used to it, but then they go back and they check and they search and they make sure that they haven't lost any, that they haven't missed any out. So they're using their scent, they're looking, they're searching, they're concentrating. All of that drains their brain in a nice calm way. Similarly, I've got something like this that I can put treats along down the middle and then roll up again so that the dog has to snuffle it and push it along to get to the treats. So, and scatter feeding, if you've got an outside space, is one of the best ways of presenting food. You can obviously dry food, throw it on grass, throw it on your hard surfaces, as long as it doesn't go underneath anything to frustrate them. You're doing well. That's great. If you even out in the garden, even if you feed wet, you can just start to put little bits of wet food either on a little plastic plate or something, or a little pot, and just spread, then gradually over time spread them out over the garden so that it's getting harder and harder. Always start off super easy and then gradually make it harder so that you don't, as I say, you don't frustrate your dog, and that you work at the right challenge for your dog. So let's have a look. So now we've got Kongs. So this is a Kong. They come in different sizes, but they also come in different levels of firmness. So this is quite a soft one. So this would be, Bracken can cope with this one really nicely. This one is quite a bit firmer. I can't squash it down quite, so this is quite a hard one for a dog that chews quite hard. Again, start off really, really easy. A little bit of food in there to start off with so that they can very successfully get it out. Gradually over time you can fill that up. Again, some people will freeze that. I will freeze that in the summer now and again, but not always, not very often. You can use obviously your wet food in there, but your dry food you can always soak it. Soak your dry food and you can pop it in there. And again, that's something I like to lob out into the garden and let them find it. Use the right size for your dog, and they're not suitable for all dogs. So little Flea, wherever he is, has only got a very, very short muzzle, so he can't really get into there. And Tug finds these quite tricky as well. So he'll do about half of a Kong. He can't do a whole Kong. So those are Kongs. Let's have a look. So next, this is a holy ball. It is, isn't it? Yeah, you like this one. So this is ideal for dogs like Scamp, who like to get hold of things, shake things, and you know, like to shred things, because then you can get some little bits of dry food, roll it up in newspaper or in felt, and you can just pop them in the holes sticking out, so the dog has to pull them out, shake them to get the treats out, and then they come back with that. With Scamp, I can do that but push them right in, so he has to then get his muzzle, push in and get one out. So that's just another way of keeping him busy. Yeah, I know you like that one, don't you? You don't have to buy things, especially at the moment when lots of non-essential shops are closing. Have a look at what you've got in the home, because there's all sorts of things that you can use. So, you know, one of the most common things is a muffin tin. There's nothing in it. I think you're checking, aren't you? So this is a muffin tin. You can put your food in here and put your tennis balls on the top. If your dog finds that super easy, then you can cut your tennis balls in half and put a cord in the top so that your dog actually has to pull the half a tennis ball off the food to get to it. That's a really nice little activity. And this is something that most households have got. It's a little hop-up stool, but if you turn it over, can you see inside you've got all these little compartments. This is great for putting little bits of food in, little bit dry food, wet food, whatever you want. Pop that out in the garden and your dog will be as happy as Larry, just going through and making sure that they've got all of the food off there. Not sure you're helping, Scamp, and you're on the table for some reason. Hey, cute boy. So use any outside space that you've got for hiding things in. As I say, don't make it too challenging, but build it up. Once you've built it up to quite a larger area, don't forget you can use different levels. So, for example, you could use put dry kibble into some envelopes, and you could hide the envelopes at different levels in your garden, and then the dog has to really search and use his nose to find them. You can also put envelopes on a little, you can peg them on a little line that you make up. There's all sorts of things that you can do. But know your dog. If you know that your dog is quite likely to get a little clothes peg and run off and chew and possibly swallow it, don't do it. If you know that your dog's not going to be bothered with that and just get the envelope and run round, then that's fine. Or just be there to supervise. Use your empty Coke bottles, your drink bottles for putting holes in, put a bit of their dry dinner in there, let them roll it around. Start off with big holes so that every time it turns, something comes out. Then gradually over time, oh, I've got to push this a couple of times to get something out. Again, if they like any sort of fruit and veg, so mine do like the broccoli stalks, they like the carrots, they like apple and pears. You can slice them, thread them onto a string, hang them up somewhere, or hang it across so that again the dog comes and spends time nibbling at it. It's so much better than putting food in a bowl which is gone, in 5 seconds. So a lot of this you'll have around the house. Some of it you may want to try and buy. One of the best things I think is to use a combination of everything. So this is just a cardboard box. It's an old shoe box. In here I've got an egg box. Thanks, Scampy. There's some paper. Toilet roll inners. I think there may be 1 or 2 of these around in houses at the moment. These are really useful for hiding things in, and you can absolutely make it an adventure box. So for a dog like Scamp, who's been so helpful. Scamp, come down. Come over here. Are you coming down? Good boy. Come, good boy. Well done. No. So what you can do is, you can fill a Kong. You can get a Kong, fill it for him. You can put it inside the box. Inside the box, you can put a bit of dry food or wet food in a toilet roll inner, squash down the edge, put that in. You can put some dry food in here. Put the lid on. You might want to wrap it up in some paper and put it in that box. Then you've got something that you can present to your dog out in the garden. Now, Scamp's quite capable of dealing with all of that, and it will keep him busy for 20 minutes, 30 minutes out there while he's ripping things apart, checking that he hasn't missed anything. But you can make some really good adventure boxes. However, make sure that, that's at the right level for your dog. Someone like little Rosie or Flea, just a toilet roll inner with some food in is sometimes enough. Or a little bit of, food in there, possibly wrapped up in a little bit of paper. That is as much as they can deal with at the time. But there's so many things that you can use. Egg boxes is another one of our favourites, isn't it? It is, another one of our favourites. So, and sometimes I will leave a raw egg in there, a whole, so that they have to, you know, break it open to get to it. So a lot of the things won't cost you anything, and that is really, really good. And I will go through in more depth some of the other things that you can do with your dog. Obviously, if you're homeschooling with small children, you can get them to help you plan your enrichment for the day. You can put some dry kibble in a bag and ask the child to walk around, put a hole in the bag and ask the child to walk, so he's leaving a little trail and the dog will follow. That's a nice thing to do with them. And if you've got an older child, ask them, give them some household things, and then say, do you know what? Create an activity for a dog around these 3 items. Get them to draw it out, get them to sort of label what is it that we need, get them to make it, then to evaluate it. How did it go? Did it work well? What went really well? What could be improved? What would you change? Would this be suitable for all dogs? Is this suitable for indoors and outdoors? So, you know, you can use this with the children that you've got at home at the moment. So I think for now, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to finish now. So I hope you found it useful. Please keep well and, you know, just keep calm. All right. Thank you very much. Bye.